East is a very unique school where some rooms have 4 walls and a door, and some rooms have 1 wall and no door.
I am Miss Sweeney. I work on the 3rd floor, and my classroom is an open classroom.
Hi, my name is Mrs. Korean, and I teach art here at East. And I'm on the 1st floor. I don't have any doors in my room. I have some makeshift walls, and that's about it.
Hi, my name is Mrs. Bedore. I teach on the 2nd floor, and I teach in a room that only has 3 walls and no door.
I'm Mrs. Bailey. I am on the 3rd floor. We teach social studies, and I have a walled room.
The unique layouts of the classrooms have raised one question throughout East's existence. How can the students feel safe during the school day in these conditions should an emergency situation occur? The current plan for emergency drills is to be aware of your surroundings and know what is happening all around you. We asked Louis Chevelle and Mrs. Bailey their thoughts on the issue.
I think that situational awareness is something that all people need to have in any situation, whether it be a fire, a flood, or an active shooter. But I think that hiding is sometimes what you need to do, and some kids, if they feel they have to trust their gut that hiding is the best option, then they need to do so and hide.
Practice is a good thing for the students because in the moment I think panic kicks in, so we want that muscle memory. I'm going to use psychology so that instead of having to think, the kids just automatically react, and the more training they have in the proper reaction versus a panic reaction, I think is a good thing.
New York State schools are mandated to hold 12 fire drills a year, while only mandated to hold 4 lockdown drills a year. We talked to Assistant Principal Mrs. Charleston Smith to see how East prepares for emergency situations with our unique school setup.
As an administrator coming up with safety procedures, the key factor is what are we dealing with in our building that since we have no walls, and what is the fastest way to get kids and adults in the building to be in a safe location. So we work with law enforcement to determine walking around the building and looking at what we own as far as the physical structure of our building and where most of our kids are during the drills. Then we look at whether we need to teach kids to run, hide, or fight, and the adults as well. Once we do that, we look at, we practice the drills and make sure that everyone understands when we're looking at situational awareness and looking at what the guidelines are from the state.
Although there are many safety measures in place, some students are still uncertain about being safe in an emergency situation. Over 60% of students expressed a lack of preparation in the event of a school shooting.
I do not think our school is prepared. I think we practice very much just sitting, and if an actual emergency were to happen, the hallways would be very crowded and trying to get out would be a nightmare because everyone's going to be funneling through very much like the same stairwell. Instead, if we practice exiting, then we could eliminate the congestion that might happen in the stairs.
However, Officer Edwards informed us that there is a very low risk of a school shooting to actually occur. Despite the facts, he still works with the teachers so they know how to react.
I'm Officer Andrew Edwards. I am the school resource officer for the building. Statistically, the probability of ever having an active shooter in the building is very low, but that doesn't mean that we don't take any threat or any concern very seriously.
Okay.
Well, the drills, safety drills are all mandated at the state level, so they determine how many fire drills we do opposed to lockdown drills. Williamsville East is a little unique in the sense that we don't have as many classrooms as a traditional school, so that's why I take the time to walk around and talk to teachers and go over specific ideas of where a good hiding place would be, when appropriate time to flee would be, and just having a plan and being prepared as best you can for a worst case scenario.
Okay.
In our survey, 60% of students reported that they do not feel like there should be an increase of security.
I do feel very safe. I feel as if we have a good group of kids at East. I feel like everyone's respectful, and Officer Edwards also helps me feel safe.
I think that the school is 100% prepared should there be an emergency situation. There's a lot of drills and procedures that allow the school and the kids and faculty inside the school to be as prepared as possible should any emergency, whether it be like a lockdown or any weather issue, be in place.
In terms of the commons, most students would feel safer and more prepared if there were more realistic drills along with better education instead of slowly filing into the auditorium. An extension to the vestibule is set to be built in the next year or two. The purpose of this is to minimize the risk of a threat entering the school directly through the only layer of doors we currently have. These new doors will be bulletproof and lead to the first lobby, the front desk station, which is currently set up inside the school. The safety of our students and staff is always the top priority at East, and it will continue to be so in the coming school year.